allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Bill Reinhardt,
Present.
Vice Mayor Bill Earl,
Present.
Mayor Matt Watkins,
Here.
Councilmember Larry DeCon,
Here.
and Councilmember Rick Jones.
Present.
Public comments. Go ahead.
Yeah, my name's Paul Martin. I grew up down in Orland. I came here, I didn't want to be on the docket, but I still like to speak now. I'd like to open a distillery, and Bronson was my first choice to do it. It's not gonna be a full-blown like Jim Beam or anything like that. It's gonna be like a small micro distillery. And I come into Bronson all the time anyway, instead of going in and out of other towns. Because I grew up where I'm at, but I've been there since I was 3. So before I spent money on a location or anything, I wanted to come in on a good foot and talk to you all before I just showed up overnight. And everybody's like, where'd he come from? So I guess if I could get put on the docket for the next meeting, I'd appreciate it, because I know it'll bring some business in, possibly some more jobs as I grow and expand. So at this time, I'd just like to thank you for your time and everything like that. And if I could put on the docket for the next month, I'd appreciate it.
I think need to go.
We can set up a time to talk and see what locations you're looking at and look at zoning and see.
Honestly, I haven't looked at anything like that yet, because it's gonna require, because with how flammable everything's gonna be, like, I'm only allowed to do 20,000 gallons a year. I've already looked at all of that. I know you're not gonna want it where there's a lot of houses or a school or anything like that. So I would like to talk to whoever I need to talk to first, before I actually started looking at places. If I have to buy a plot of land and then have a building built, and then plumb for fire hydrants and all that, so everybody's happy and everybody feels safe, because it is such a small community, that where I would like to start, that's why I'm here today.
Yeah, I think that's the conversation that you were leading to. Speak with Brandon on that. He can give you, I'm gonna say the ins and outs, I guess, to, what kind of requirements need to be met for certain areas, and you can start looking at locations at that point.
Yeah, that's what I appreciate that, that's why I said, that's why I'm here today, that way you guys knew what was going on before I just showed up in here, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I think
Appreciate it,
that's, you know, give it Brandon and we'll start working on that process. We'd be glad to work with you.
All right, I appreciate you guys.
That's what you got going, really.
Yeah,
Really interesting.
all right, thank you.
Thank you.
Have a nice day.
Yep, you too.
Any other public comments?
I would like to see Paul Bronson.
All right,
What?
presentations.
Well, like I said, we've been there since I was 3.
Yes, that's me.
When I was just a hop, skip, and a jump.
So,
When I was
there was a
teenager,
mishap, I
spent
guess,
time
in
up
getting
there
the audit
in
reports,
you know?
so
Basically, y'all like
unfortunately,
computers,
don't have a
like,
copy for yourself, but I'll just
small
go over
community,
my.
you know,
I'm sure they'll work with you, so.
right?
So for the audit, I worked with Tricia and Brandon, they're both wonderful to work with, and, throughout the audit, we figured out the opinion was unmodified, or a clean opinion, it's the best opinion that the city could receive, and so there's nothing better that you or Tricia or Brandon could have done to receive a better opinion. So we submitted everything to the state, so you're all good with the state, and, I'm assuming from Tricia, there's been no concerns from the state. I haven't received anything. So, yeah. So the opinion was clean, perfect in ways, another way to say it. Your assets, of the city exceeded your liabilities by about 8.5 million. Of that 8.5 million, approximately 3.2 million is, built into your fixed assets.
I hope so.
So the difference between the 8 and the 3 is largely unrestricted, or, sorry, 3 million is unrestricted, the 5 million is largely built up of your fixed assets. There's some other amounts in there, but, you have about 3 million of unrestricted, net position. You had about 3 million in revenues and a little under that in expenses, so you had an increase of about 30,000 to your net position, so excess revenues over expenses for the year. Your governmental funds, general fund and region local streets fund, all those fund balances, you have about 2.5 million in those fund balances, which was an increase of 275 over the previous year. So again, excess revenues over expenses. Of that amount, of the 2.5 million, about 50% of it is available for use for whatever, it's unrestricted. Major and local streets are restricted for those specifically, but the general fund largely is unrestricted to be used for anything. If you take your unrestricted amount as a percentage of your general fund expenditures, it equates to about 88%. It covers 88% of your general fund expenditures for the year, so if you had no income come in for 88% of the next year, you'd survive about that long. Which is to say it's a pretty decently sized fund balance where you're not gonna run into cash issues. So doing well from that financial perspective. There wasn't too much else I had. You had some increases in your cash, which was largely due to your not spending as much as you brought in. You had an increase in debt, which I'm sure you all know because you issued a little bit of more debt during the fiscal year. You had some decreases in capital grants, largely due to just having some other grants that came in last year that didn't come in this year. So, as a high level perspective, that you stand pretty fine financially, and I see no issues. So, that's about it. Was there any questions or anything? I wanted to keep it pretty high level and short.
No,
If you-
no, I think, without actually just having the numbers in front, I think that's, you know, appreciate everything that you've done.
Yeah.
You know, Tricia, Brandon, thank you very much.
Yeah.
I do, maybe you covered it when I was not in the room, but we did end up with a small surplus last year for the general fund.
Yeah, he did say that.
Yeah. Appreciate all three of you.
Well, we appreciate having a clean report.
Well, it's hard to get a bad report, I would say. It takes a lot of effort to do that, so, and Tricia's pretty on top of it, so.
That's why we hired her.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, thank you so much, because of course, coming into a new municipality, I appreciate all of your help and your understanding and your patience through that process.
Yeah,
Very
and
much so.
I know there's some issues with the timing of everything, but it'll be cleaned up next year to where we'll both be on the same page and everything like that, so, yeah.
Thank you.
Yep,
Yeah, thank you very much.
do you mind if I head out then?
No, you're good, I'll email you and we'll go from there.
Yep, and we'll get the other reports to you so you can review them if you want.
Thank you.
Feel free to call me, answer me, and I'll answer any questions you have, but.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Safe travel.
Thank you.
On to the consent agenda, Brandon.
Just point out that there's a resolution on there to appoint Terry Tabasic to the planning commission following Tony Brisman's resignation.
Anybody have any questions or anything on the consent agenda?
Nope.
We have a motion to,
I make a motion to approve the consent
I'll
agenda.
second it.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? New business, approve boom truck purchase. Brandon.
Thank you, Mayor Watkins. At the previous regular council meeting, the council discussed the need to replace the city's boom truck, which also serves as the city's water truck. Joe has been evaluating used boom trucks in the area, and staff would like to get permission from council to approve the purchase of a used boom truck with a not-to-exceed amount of $75,000. The motor pool can support the purchase of a new truck as this fund is healthy. With this approval, Joe would find a cost-effective truck that would meet the city's needs and just work out a lot better for them.
Now, we originally, this is just to increase the amount, because we gave, didn't we already give an approval?
We weren't able to because it wasn't on the agenda, so we couldn't make
Okay.
a motion. We never were able to make a motion, so.
Okay. All right.
I'll make a motion that we approve boom truck purchase in the amount of up to $75,000.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Approve forklift purchase.
Thank you, Mayor Watkins. Also, at a previous council meeting, council discussed the need for a forklift for the Public Works Department. This would be used to load and unload the new storage racks the city received from Madison Wire. It's allowed us to create a lot more room in that front DPW building and will allow us to move heavy pallets easily. For example, concrete bag mix can be loaded into into the back of a truck rather than on a pallet rather than having to lift those heavy bags onto the truck and prevent injuries that way. So staff staff would like council to pre-approve a not to exceed amount of up to $20,000 to purchase a used forklift. Used ones nearby sell very quickly, so we would need to move fast if we found one we liked.
Do you have one in mind?
No. I've talked to some businesses and some wholesalers and whatnot. I was trying to stay low, but it sounds like low forklifts belong in a junkyard and not in a municipality. So, the one guy I did talk to, he said he could put us in a pretty nice unit for 17. I don't wanna spend that much on one. It's not an everyday practice with it, so I'm going for mind over matter on money with this because we aren't gonna use it a whole lot. I mean, I just don't wanna buy a turd and be out more than anything, so.
And this is indoor, outdoor, or strictly just indoor?
It'll be indoor, outdoor, it'll be pneumatic tires, so we can go across the parking lot. I don't know of any forklifts that do well in dirt, so I'm not buying one that's four-wheel drive to drive across the yard, so. It'll just be simple use, really.
This would be out of the general,
Motor pool.
it would be under the motor pool as well.
Yeah, I think so.
More than likely, yeah, equipment that way for machinery.
Yeah.
And we're good with these two, no issue with that.
Well, I'd make a motion, we approve the purchase of the forklift not to exceed $20,000.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, the Excessive Freedom of Information Act, plea appeal and record denial appeal.
Thank you, Mayor Watkins. Mr. Lindsay has filed an appeal to the head of the public body claiming the estimate for review and redaction, if necessary, of the file he requested to inspect is too high. The file is in the city manager's file with email correspondence between Mr. Lindsay and the city. Due to the large volume and size of the file, I estimated it would take about 2 hours of my time to review and make any necessary redactions. Given that there could be sensitive attorney-client information, emails in there, I would fit as the person capable of fulfilling the request, so it was estimated at my hourly wage, and the total came to $102.64, which includes up to 50% of fringe benefits. Or whichever is less. So, the filer has the right to appeal to the head of public body, and four decisions can be made. First is to waive the fee. Second, reduce the fee and issue a written determination to the requesting person indicating the specific basis under section 4 that supports the remaining fee. The determination shall include certification from the head of the public body that the statements in the determination are accurate and that the reduced fee complies with its publicly available procedures and guidelines under section 4. The next option would be to uphold the fee and issue a written determination to the requesting person indicating the specific basis under section 4 that supports the required fee. Basically, same sentence as I'll skip that. Or the fourth option would be to issue a notice extending for not more than 10 business days the period during which the head of the public body must respond to the written appeal. The notice of extension shall include detailed reason or reasons why the extension is necessary. The head of the public body shall not issue more than one notice of extension for the particular written appeal. The estimated cost is an estimate. It may take the full 2 hours to review and redact, or it could be less. And that estimate does not count or include making copies of the file. The file will be made available for the filer to inspect and require staff to monitor and make sure that documents stay in the file and are preserved. So that cost is not factored into it. The requester did not request physical copies, so we did not estimate that. The city, I don't know if you wanna take this one issue at a time and discuss this, or give a summary of the next one.
Yeah, no, I think let's talk this one here.
Okay.
I guess my initial thought on this, when the word file comes up in today's society, it's not just a paper file that someone would think. It could be an electronic file, an email file, and if that is the case, then if it's your email file, then you are the only one that has access to that, and you are the only applicant to do that. That should not be where it could be the lowest paid employee capable of doing that. No one's gonna get into your email box and go through your emails because of the sensitive nature of other business within that, so,
The file he's referring to is a physical file with lawsuits being thrown out there. I started printing off all the emails that I had in case it went to litigation. That's the file he was referring to.
but still in that, there is email chains that has sensitive information in there that just can't be given to the public to look through because of
Correct.
some of the sensitive nature in that.
Interestingly enough, if the emails are from the public to the city, it becomes a public record. Public record is defined under MCL 15, 232 point, let me see, I. Public record means a writing prepared, owned, used, or in the possession of, or retained by a public body in performance of an official function from the time it was created. My understanding is most of these emails are from Mr. Lindsay, is that correct? They're his emails, that he wants to have access to. Yeah, now, he has requested to come in and look through the file. I think he's hoping there might be other emails from city attorney in response to that, which would be covered under attorney-client privilege. The statute clearly does say that it's the lowest wages of the person who is capable of retrieving and the information of redacting that. I think Matt pointed that out. Section 4 also permits the public body to waive the entire fee if they believe that the development of these documents is in the general public good, which again, the question is, why are all of the emails that Mr. Lindsay has sent to the city, which he has access to, what are they in the general public good to know? But what he does point out in one of his responses is, all my emails are now public record, and he's exactly correct. So if you wanted to come in and see those public records, you could do so. You could file a FOIA request. Not that anybody really cares. Also, the statute under section 4 does indicate that the public body may waive the first $20 of the fee if an individual has submitted an affidavit stating that they are receiving public assistance or that they have an inability to pay because of indigency. So you do have the ability to waive the first $20 of a fee if there's an affidavit submitted or of either public assistance or indigency, which I don't think there was here.
That's not been submitted.
Okay.
Is there a form, that
No,
specific form?
it just says an affidavit saying that I'm on public assistance and I don't have the money to pay for this. That's what it would be. There is no particular form that I've seen the state come up with. So really, Brandon has pointed out to you, this is your ability to decide what a reasonable cost is. Most municipalities have decided that if somebody requested public records having to do with PFAS, that would be in the general public good, that's one thing. Somebody's requesting to have records of emails they've sent to the city manager in the hopes that they might find something on a fishing expedition that somebody else has responded to is probably not the general public good. So you, again, you can waive it if you think it's in the public good, or you can reduce it by $20 if there's a affidavit of indigency, which there's not. Otherwise, you pretty much, I mean, Brandon has told you what your options are.
Well, he's run you around and around and around, and you've accommodated him way too much as far as I'm concerned. I don't see any reason why I feel that we should, unless he can't. He has an affidavit stating that he's on public assistance. He should pay the whole shop, if that's what he wants to do.
I am in 100% agreement with that statement.
So you need a motion to deny his appeal.
I'll make the motion to deny his appeal.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
And again, I think the reason for that is he's not provided any documentation that he does not have the ability to pay, and that this is the reasonable amount for the records that he's requesting, and that the overall reason, overall the records are not, I wouldn't put that in there, it's just a reasonable amount for that. So with that.
That last meeting, what he said.
Now you need to deal with the second one, which is a little bit different, it has even more statutes behind it.
You said there was something else right here.
Yep. So, we also received an appeal to a notice of denial. I sent that out on Friday denying, he requested personal cell phone numbers of 2 staff members, including 1 law enforcement employee. Mr. Lindsay requested phone numbers that were used to send text messages between the city manager and police chief. Those messages were previously provided. It was a day when he visited the office a couple weeks ago or so. So those were provided to him. The request was denied under MCL 15.243I, Section A, as the release would result in an unwarranted invasion of these individuals' privacy. Also under Section MCL 15.2.43S, Section 3, the city cannot disclose address or phone numbers of active or retired law enforcement officers. So your task, within 10 business days after receiving the written appeal pursuant to subsection 1A, the head of the public body shall do one of the following: reverse the disclosure denial, or issue a written notice to the requesting person upholding the disclosure denial. Third, reverse the disclosed denial in part and issue a written notice to the requesting person upholding the disclosure denial in part. Under the circumstances, issue a notice extending for not more than 10 business days the period during which the head of the public body shall respond to the written appeal. The head of the public body shall not issue more than 1 notice of extension for a particular appeal.
Again, I have reviewed this, I actually went to the extent of contacting the Michigan Association of Municipal Attorneys to the Michigan Municipal League. And I said, this has been requested, this is my take on it. And what I came up with is this, Brandon is correct, there is a section under the Freedom of Information Act on listing on exempt material. Very specifically, he cited the one about law enforcement personnel. Interestingly enough, the very next section also prevents the disclosure of names of family members or relatives of law enforcement personnel, so that they can't get the phone numbers and threaten them. So, although that was not requested here. There was some discussion as I talked to other municipal attorneys. if the city had provided for its personnel a cell phone that was only to be used for city work, and the city was paying for it, that number is discoverable.
Understood.
But if it's a private cell phone number that is used from time to time for municipal work, the texts or messages that were received or sent on that are discoverable, which is what he's done. But the number itself is not discoverable because it's a private number, and that falls under the section 13(1)A, which is information which would constitute a clearly unwarranted invasion of an individual's privacy. Now, I could even make the argument, and I would if I had to go to court, an alternate argument, that Brandon is also a law enforcement official because he supervises Steve, but he also has a role to play in ordinance enforcement and other enforcement. So therefore, from that perspective, he's got two possibilities. But my view is, as your counsel, is I don't think you have any basis to grant this. He has no right to a private cell phone number. If it was a publicly granted cell phone, different story, but it is not. So he's got no right to it, and to do otherwise would be in violation of the ordinance, of the statute.
I'm in full agreement.
Yep.
If it was a city-issued cell phone, by all means, that's one thing, but the private ones, I'm not willing to waive the appeal on that and go that route. So I think we uphold our original decision on that. I think,
You need a motion and a second and a vote.
so do we have a motion to, it's to uphold the appeal, right?
To deny the appeal.
Deny the appeal.
I'll make a motion to deny the appeal, is that correct?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Alright. City staff comments.
I don't have much this month.
Building going well?
Building's going well. Looking at within 2 weeks.
Are you really? Good deal. Very good.
That's what I heard.
Aggressive, but we think we can pull it off.
Good. Scott?
Sure, yeah, I'll take a quick minute since I haven't been here in a while. Snowmobile season's kind of wrapped up, so I'll be joining you again. It's never really started. The satellite station, we had the floors epoxied last week. The last thing that we have to do is put the bathroom fixtures in, and then once the weather breaks, we'll do our concrete approaches on the exterior. Other than that, it's done. Once this spring, once we get the trucks in and everything's wrapped up, we'll have an open house, and we'd love to see you there. The new tanker is here. Thank you to Joe and the crew down at DPW for storing it for us until we get the transition made over. We've ordered all the new equipment for the new tanker. Once that all arrives, we'll put it in service and be able to get the satellite station up and running. We're still fully staffed. We have 26 firefighters. Things are going very well at the department. We're still chasing as many grants as we can find. And other than that, barring any questions, that's what I have to report.
Thanks, Scott.
Things are on the up and up. Really pushing hard to get these meters done.
Yeah, how's that going for you?
Yeah.
It's kind of opened their eyes a little bit, haven't you?
There's just some people that are under a misunderstanding with them. They think they have to buy them. So they're not pursuing getting them done because they don't have money, and then it's like, well, you don't pay for them, provided you have one.
Right.
Other than that, I mean, moving along.
Jared?
Everything's going good at the plant. ICE is finally up the clarifier that we've been trying to get them, support rods in, so hopefully tomorrow or later this week we can get them put in and fill it back up. That's about it.
Brandon?
Yeah, working with our new engineer for the Vandenbrink, we had a virtual meeting with Eagle on Friday just to try to confirm we're on the same page with project expectations and timelines. We'll need to submit an updated project plan first before they can really say if they're on board with things. But we'll get that submitted. We may need to amend the corrective action plan that was submitted as part of the ACO. Seems there were a number of items added to that that committed us to doing certain projects, but are not really at all tied to addressing I&I. So that's what we're working on, and things are moving forward.
Good.
And congrats to the wrestling team. winning districts.
Couple comments. Bill?
Well, thanks, Steve, for all your work over there at the station. You donate time, and Brandon and Tricia for the good audit report. Scott for everything you do over there, and the guys and the gals. Joe and Jerry for what you guys do. I think Chuck and Patrick for what you guys do. That's good.
Bill?
Brandon, Tricia, great job on the audit. Thanks for all your hard work. Steve, thanks for the pre-peek at the building. I actually got a preview yesterday.
And we appreciate you as well.
Patrick, thank you for all you do. I know you spent a lot of time working with these different engineering companies, along with Brandon, and that's really appreciated. I think we should thank Ms. Davidson for the time that she spent on our planning committee. I mean, she was here for a lot of years, has served well. So I think we should do something nice for her, some kind of plaque, something just for her.
Maybe send a plant and I can write a card.
I think we should do something for her, for, you know, her time, what she's done. Thanks to council for all your hard work. I know we've had a lot of things we've been working on and it's going great, so lots of positives. Thanks to everybody.
Okay, Joe and Jerry, thank you. You guys are working together, collaborating where you can. That's impressive to me, because you're talking about a bucket truck that's gonna have dual usage. I'm sure the fork truck will have dual usage. I know Jerry come up and help Steve with, some of the things on the building.
Mhm.
And so did Joe and his crew.
Yep.
It's so nice to see people working together without friction, without attitudes and all that. We are truly blessed. The audit is a combination of everybody that works for the city, all your department heads. They hold the line every chance they can. Of course, Brandon, he does great, Tricia does great, and behind the scenes, we have Patrick. And he's really done a lot to help us, so thank you. Betty for her years as far as on the planning commission. That's all I have.
Can't go much more than what we've already been through, but, you know, Steve, I'll make sure to come up there and
Yeah.
look at all your progress, because I know you put in some lot of hours.
Should be up there Wednesday if you happen to be around.
This Wednesday, you, it's impressive how much you've quickly have come along with that.
It's a lot of work, but it's gonna be well worth it in the end.
Yeah, and how much longer, how are you doing on officers? Are you gonna be off much longer?
About three more weeks, I think. Yeah, we're doing well. We're cutting everything covered good, so
Everything going good there?
yeah,
Joe,
just a little bit more and then we'll be good.
You've been pretty blessed with weather, haven't you?
Oh, yeah.
You're not out there. You're blessed with Scott, would kind of like to see a little more of.
Have you plowed it all this year?
8 out of 10 years, he gets what he wants.
Yeah, and then Jerry and Adam, man, you guys really doing it. Happy to have you all aboard, you know. I guess that's about it.
I second everything that everybody said. I do, Brandon, I do wanna give you a thanks. I know, this is, everything with the consent order and everything else that we're doing right now on top the other issue, I'll be PC on that issue. But, you know, it's a lot to deal with, and, you know, you're doing the best you can, and I appreciate that. And, you know, again, whatever we can do to help out, obviously, it's not an easy task, because you're the face of it. We're behind the scenes a lot of times, so, again, thank you for everything you're doing there, so.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
And he still has hair going. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So far.
Yeah.
I think that's the,
That's pretty impressive.
With that, do we have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make it.
I support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Scott.